So Kathleen Kennedy is on her way out of Star Wars. I don't know for sure if she's out of Lucasfilm, but she's definitely leaving Star Wars in favor of Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. I would rather it be Jon Favreau, but it seems like Dave Filoni is assuming control over Star Wars, and there's really no doubting that at this point, and I'll show you all the evidence in this video. Let's check it out. If you enjoy Star Wars news and just pop culture news in general, then please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I try to post multiple times a day on this channel. Let's get into the video. So I know that you've been hearing this for years and years. Ever since 2018, people have been saying that Kathleen Kennedy isn't renewing her contract at Lucasfilm, that Kathleen Kennedy will be fired, all of this stuff. For one, it's just a different time now. For one, it's just there's a lot of stuff going on at Disney right now. The lawsuits, Bob and Bob are arguing with each other. Apparently, Bob Chapeck and Bob Iger don't get along. Apparently, Bob Iger doesn't like what Bob Chapeck has been doing with Disney and with Lucasfilm included. But also, there's just a lot of things going on inside of Lucasfilm, inside of Star Wars on a smaller scale. With Kathleen Kennedy, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni, there's just a lot of different things going on in there. We have Dave Filoni being promoted to executive creative director at Lucasfilm, which is kind of odd because I don't think I don't know this for sure, but I don't think Dave Filoni has much interest in things in Lucasfilm other than Star Wars. So it's kind of weird that he would be executive creative director of Lucasfilm, but maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe for one, he's only doing Star Wars, and maybe for two, he is interested in other things outside of Star Wars. I don't know, but that's a big sign. Even though he's been promoted a year ago, that's a big sign that Kathleen Kennedy is on her way out of there. But also, something that I found today, and I might be totally wrong on this, this might be a non-story, but check this out real quick. This is Kathleen Kennedy's IMDb. Let me go up to prove it to you. There's Kathleen Kennedy. And here is her producer credits, right? You see Rangers of the New Republic, which probably isn't happening. Ahsoka, and then, you know, a couple of untitled Star Wars projects, Rogue Squadron, Andor, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Do you notice anything that's missing here? We have The Mandalorian, and that's for 2 seasons, 16 episodes. Something's missing here. There is no Book of Boba Fett on here. And unless I'm missing something, there is no Book of Boba Fett producer credit for Kathleen Kennedy on here. I think that's pretty telling. I think that, you know, that's proving that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are being able to go off and do their own thing now. And maybe I'm missing it. I've looked over this like a million times at this point, and I can't find a Book of Boba Fett producer credit for Kathleen Kennedy. I think that's saying something. I mean, obviously, that's not I found this just before recording this video, by the way. I had other stuff lined up that I wanted to talk about. But this is pretty big in my opinion. I think that this proves that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are being able to go off and do their own thing without Kathleen Kennedy being there. And probably Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and Robert Rodriguez, I believe, are getting a producer credit for the Book of Boba Fett. And I think that that's going to be the trio going forward. It's not just going to be Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni anymore. It's going to be Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and Robert Rodriguez. And if you have that many people that know what they're doing, not only in the entertainment industry, not only in the movie industry, but they also know what they're doing when it comes to Star Wars, what do you need Kathleen Kennedy for? If those are the 3 executive producers, what do you need Kathleen Kennedy for at that point? You just don't need her. You can have her overlooking the big picture of stuff, you know, making sure that no one quits, no one's fired, and she gets bigger hires, you know, big director hires and stuff like that for the feature films. That's it. That's all you need her for. And even if Kathleen Kennedy were to come into Star, because right now she's pretty busy with Indiana Jones, so that could play a part. Maybe she's only focusing on Indiana Jones 5 right now, and that's why she's not executive producing Book of Boba Fett. That's totally fine. But even when she does decide to come back to Star Wars, her baby right now when it comes to Star Wars is High Republic stuff. And I think that a lot of us, especially you watching this video, have probably kind of accepted the fact that, you know, the High Republic isn't for us. It's just not for us. It's for a certain type of Star Wars fan, and it's not us. You know, it's not me. Maybe it's you, but it's not me. And that's Kathleen Kennedy's baby. That's Kathleen Kennedy's creation. That's all the, you know, the Pablo Hidalgos, all the Kathleen Kennedy disciples in there are working on the High Republic. So if she were to come back to Star Wars, if she were to leave Indiana Jones 5 after it's finished, and she's like, you know what, I want to get back into Star Wars, if she's not fired at that point, if she's not gone out of Lucasfilm, because as time goes on, the more and more I learn, the more and more I think that Kathleen Kennedy probably won't be fired. I don't think that she'll be fired because that's kind of, you know, in Hollywood terms, that's kind of public humiliation. I don't think that she'll be fired from Lucasfilm. She might get promoted to some other position at Disney, or she might just stay exactly where she is. But regardless, she is definitely losing power in Star Wars. She's not even executive producing Book of Boba Fett, as I just showed you. She's definitely losing power when it comes to Star Wars. Maybe that's by choice. Maybe that's by force. I don't know. But she's losing power when it comes to Star Wars, and that's a positive, because all I want out of this, I don't care if she gets fired or publicly humiliated. I just want to see good Star Wars content. That's all I want. All I want is good Star Wars content. Let's check this out as well. Could Kathleen Kennedy leave due to Bob Chapeck's rumored Disney executive contract change? So apparently Bob Chapeck wants to change the fact that all of these studio execs, all of these studio heads have multi-year contracts, and there's a rumor going on that this means that Kathleen Kennedy's contract will end sooner, but it doesn't make any sense to me because her contract already ends in October. So it doesn't make any sense why that would be, why that would take immediate effect, why Kathleen Kennedy would immediately be fired because her contract changed. That wouldn't make much sense. I don't think that she would sign the new contract if it meant that she immediately got fired. Plus, like I said, I don't know if she's going to get fired anymore. I think that she's just going to lose power when it comes to Star Wars. Let her ruin everything outside Lucasfilm. Or maybe you should do a great job on everything else. I don't know. Maybe she's a great producer and Star Wars is just a different animal, because obviously she is not capable of running Star Wars properly, not only when it comes to creative decisions, not only when it comes to stuff like the sequel trilogy having no plan. That's low-hanging fruit at this point. We all know that the sequel trilogy had no plan, and that was its biggest downfall. But not only that, she can't keep people on projects. Taika Waititi, I guarantee you, is already gone off of this project. I guarantee you this untitled Taika Waititi Star Wars film right here, he's done. He just signed on to be another writer on another project. He has too much stuff to worry about to do a movie by 2025. There's just no way. That's 4 years from now. I know it seems like it's a long time away, but 2025 in reality and in Hollywood terms is not that far away. You need a lot of time, especially if he's making a totally new story from scratch. That's a lot of time that you need to do that stuff. Also, we have this Dave Filoni promotion. We all know that this happened, and it happened apparently over a year ago. But I think that it still is big when you put all of this stuff together. When you put the fact that Kathleen Kennedy isn't even involved in the Book of Boba Fett, and then you have Dave Filoni being the head executive creative director of Lucasfilm, I think that not only means that Kathleen Kennedy is losing power in Star Wars, but that Dave Filoni is going to be able to overpower Kathleen Kennedy when it comes to creative decisions. Now, obviously, Kathleen Kennedy is still the president of Lucasfilm, so if Dave Filoni says something and she totally disagrees with it and she totally hates his idea, she can just go to the Disney higher-ups and be like, you know what, I'm the president of Lucasfilm. I get the final say, because Dave Filoni is under her still. He doesn't have complete autonomy over the decisions of Lucasfilm. So if Kathleen Kennedy does see a creative decision that she really hates from Dave Filoni, she can still go change it. But I don't even think that she would know better than to overturn something that Dave Filoni says. I think that if Dave Filoni says it, it's probably going to go from now on, because I think even Kathleen Kennedy can concede that Dave Filoni knows a lot more than Kathleen Kennedy does. And like I said, I would rather it have been Jon Favreau, maybe not creative director, because I think that Dave Filoni can probably be a better creative director than Jon Favreau can, because I think that Jon Favreau would just be a great studio head. I think that in general, I don't think that that's what he wants to do with his career, but I think that he would be a great president of Lucasfilm. I don't think Dave Filoni would, but I also think that Dave Filoni is probably a better creative director than Jon Favreau could be, because he seems like a more creative person, and he seems like he's more interested in Star Wars, especially in the deep lore. He just knows a lot more. I mean, he learned directly from George Lucas. Not to say that Dave Filoni hasn't made some bad decisions in the past. I've made multiple videos on that. Dave Filoni has definitely made a lot of mistakes, and he's contributed to a lot of the things that I really don't like about Star Wars. And a lot of people don't know about that. And whenever I say it, people just reject it immediately. But it's documented by Dave Filoni himself. It's documented by Lucasfilm and by Disney themselves, the stuff that Dave Filoni said to push some certain things in the sequel trilogy that me and a lot of you watching really don't like about the sequel trilogy. But yeah, in my opinion, all of this stuff put together, the fact that Kathleen Kennedy, I find this really weird, and I found this just before I recorded this video. I find this really odd that she's not executive producing the Book of Boba Fett. Let me know if that's a non-story, or let me know if that's actually a pretty big deal, because I think that it's kind of a big deal that Kathleen Kennedy isn't executive producing it. Maybe it's just because Indiana Jones 5. Let me know in the comments what you think, and also let me know what you think about the whole situation. Do you think that it's true that Kathleen Kennedy is kind of being forced out, or maybe even choosing to leave Star Wars alone for now? Maybe she will come back later on, but like I said, even if she does come back and it's kind of part-time, she's kind of doing the whole Lucasfilm thing with Indiana Jones 5, and also we have other stuff like Willow coming out soon. She has to work on other stuff outside of Star Wars. If she was come back to Star Wars, she would just be working on High Republic stuff, which we all kind of, it's kind of a lost cause in my mind. It's kind of a lost cause in a lot of other people's minds as well. Let her ruin that. That's fine. But keep Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's universe intact is all I ask for. Let me know if you think that all of this stuff is true, that Kathleen Kennedy really is being forced out, or maybe leaving on her own terms of Lucasfilm. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter, the link to that will be in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video. Hope to see you in the next one.